Ah, all right. Is there no music? Oh no. There's music now. There we go. There we go. It's just been a tech issue kind of day, and sometimes you just gotta breathe in, breathe out, and start your stream 2 hours late, and that's okay. I thought about giving up and not doing this stream, but I have some really important information that I would love to share today. So I couldn't. I'm gonna try something just a little bit different here. Let me explain then. I've been trying to do how to draw tutorials, and I've really been struggling to present it in a format that is quote unquote like YouTube video. And I feel much better sitting down one-on-one and explaining stuff. So I feel like I'm gonna go ahead and just do that. And convey the things I would like to convey. And that part will be put into a neat little video for later. And then when we're done with that segment, we're just gonna move on to working on this awesome sauce right here. This pinup I am so excited for. Deathlight, pointing to you in the crowd there. In the so hands, yeah, we got hands today. It's important for the demo. You will see. So, yeah. Oh, and when I'm done with the demo, we'll go ahead and, since you're here live in my little chat audience, like special little nuggets, you can ask me any questions you have that maybe I missed or didn't quite cover, because my aim is to try to help people who are just starting out or who are struggling to maybe get into drawing as much as they'd like to. I just want to convey some of the concepts that maybe are glossed over or kind of forgotten about by artists who've been doing it for so long. You forget that it's kind of part of the process. You learned so long ago, you forgot how to learn. So yeah, let's get to it because I'm just rambling. Okay. So let's do this. Okay. I got my tea, I got my coffee. And I've got like, gosh, I've been drawing for so long, I don't even remember. Okay, so you think you can't even draw a stick figure, huh? Well, I'm Skuttzbuttz, and I'm here to tell you that if you can write your name, you can learn to draw. Are you frustrated by drawing tutorials? Feeling like even those are over your head? You know the ones. You draw a circle, and you draw the lines, and then you draw a face, but it usually kind of is just feels bad, give up, quit art. Like, where does the face go? How does it look? Like, you know, people get to this stage and they're like, what is even happening? And it's because the tutorials kind of usually skip one crucial point, and it's because it becomes internalized to most artists by the time they have enough skill to help others learn. They're usually missing building hand-eye coordination to actually utilize the tutorials. So I'm here to try and help bridge that gap. So let's get started. But Skutz, you might ask yourself, how can you be so sure? Well, it's because I'm going to show you by using my non-dominant hand today. And I'm going to instruct this as if you're drawing with me, so go ahead and follow along if you choose. But this is how to draw part 1, hand-eye coordination. All right, so first up, let's get comfy. If you're not a seasoned doodler, you might not even know what tools you like to use. So if you're using traditional work, just find all your pens, pencils, markers, and some drawing paper. You can use anything from a sketchbook to printer paper. Just try out all the combos and keep your favorites handy to use. And if you're doing digital art, the same goes. It's just a multi-tools. Digital art is a multi-tool. But there's multitudes of brushes and tools to try out and use, and you can even make your own. And tools affect your outcome. This doesn't mean it makes your art better or worse, but it changes the feel. So, like, if you have thinner lines, or if you have thicker lines, if you have different textures or tapers, if you have different drag resistance on the paper or with the different materials you're using, right? Just try it out and find what feels comfortable to learn with. And you just make sure you adjust your pressure settings and tool settings before you get to drawing. If you don't know anything about that, maybe I'll make a video on it later, but there's plenty of tutorials. I only have information on Clip Studio settings and the Wacom tablet settings, but Procreate and all those probably have stuff you can fiddle with to at least some degree. And things like Adobe Illustrator, which, while are expensive, have many, many tools you can try out and use. So, all right. If you've got some drawing tools handy now, it's time to start. So let's work on the true secret to learning how to draw, and that is hand-eye coordination. All right, you remember this is horrible. I love it. I love reading, you know? This is why I love editing. All right. Remember when I said that if you can learn to write your name, you can learn to draw, right? Okay, this is what I meant. Starting off with writing the alphabet is an easy way to get right to it. And if you don't believe me, just try it. Try doing all caps, lowercase, cursive, like just to loosen up your hand a little bit. And it's familiar motions and shapes that your brain know already, right? You write your name, you write stuff. That is my left-handed Skutz. If I try and do it right-handed, it's much more fluid. You can see, well, until we get there. My wrist is very bad shape today, so. And on that note, like, how can I be so sure that such a simple thing like doodling and writing will help you learn to draw? It's because I've been drawing my entire life, and when I injured my right hand in a car wreck, I was unable to use it for like 6 months, and I couldn't cope without art. And out of frustration, I began to actually teach my left hand how to draw. You see, my brain knows how to draw. My right hand knows how to listen, right? My left hand has not been getting the memos, has not been showing up to practice. So, while I use my left hand for many strength-based tasks, it doesn't have the finesse. Dex is its dump stat. Even I have to practice to get my left hand to make it smooth and sure strokes that I can make with my right hand without any thought. So it's not that you lack a capacity to draw, it's that you need to work on the muscle memory to draw. Why do you think cartoonists and artists who often draw the same characters repeatedly can do them so, like, effortlessly and so easily? It's because their brain knows those shapes on speed dial. So you don't even really need to think about it, they're just there. Like, no thoughts, just dumb horse. There we go. Boom. I drew a Skutz. See if my left hand can do it, right? I don't know. All right, we got... Well, we'll see. It's been a while since I've used it, and do understand, since I drew with my left hand previously, it has some more training. So do not judge if you did try to draw with your non-dominant hand. Do not judge your abilities to mine. I spent about 6 months drawing left-handed, and I do a lot of things with my non-dominant hand. Look at that, that's glorious. What a shaky line. See what I mean though? Like it's better, but it's wiggly. And this is because this hand doesn't know like what's going on. I don't you see how unsure and nervous my hand is in the shapes? Even though this is my character. I draw her face so often. This should be fine. Like, but this hand just doesn't know. And it's all right. I'd say that's actually really good. That's better than I thought that this was going to come out. But again, I've done this multiple times just to prove that like you can even teach yourself if you know how to draw. You can teach yourself to draw with your non-dominant hand if you're stubborn enough. It is possible because it's all about muscle memory and like it's not about what you see in your brain. Well, not everybody can see stuff in their brain, but you can mimic images or see stuff. But until you teach your hand how to make the movements and find those shapes, there's going to be a disconnect. So you have to build that bridge. It takes up time to build up hand-eye coordination, and it's easy to lose it. So think of it maybe like playing a video game. It takes time to learn a new console, new game, controls, new combos. And if you play it often, chances are you'll be fairly good. But if you go a while without playing it, or you move to a console with new controller configuration, you might not be as sharp the next time you pick the game up. But if you play it for a little while again and it comes back pretty fast, most of us can relate to that to some degree, right? So art is just the same. It takes time to learn the motions and the shapes, but with enough practice, it becomes easier. If you walk away for a little bit because life got busy, you're gonna get rusty. So you have to allow yourself that, and it gets a lot easier to go back into it and keep it up. Going to writing the alphabet or doodling very simple shapes is one of my go-to warm-ups as an artist who's been drawing for like 25 years, but 10 years freelance. So like, even I can walk away from drawing for 3 weeks or a month if I've had life stuff come up, and I've always had to grant myself the patience to warm back up so that I can work again, because otherwise it feels like art block. But it's not really art block, it's that I'm out of sync with my brain and my hands. So when you do these kinds of exercises before you draw or when you're trying to learn, it really, really helps to like not beat yourself up about it and to just put those little bits of practice in, you know? Give yourself that grace. So like once the alphabet is out and you're feeling familiar, you can move on some basic shapes. So I'll just go ahead and do this with my non-dominant. Like I said, I have practiced, and this is why I can tell you that if you keep trying, you can learn. I love that my hand's probably in the way. But my writing is shaky, but it's legible, and this is because I spent time trying to teach this hand how to draw. I'm not just ambidextrous, like, wow, ooh, you're so magically, mysteriously talented. I spent 6 months drawing the alphabet and doing these exercises with my left hand to teach it to draw. So I know my brain knows how to draw. My brain knows what it wants to make. My right hand, like I said, you know, it's been there for practice, knows what's up. My left hand's been sleeping under the benches, you know? So now we've got my left hand doing laps around the field and getting the practice in, and instead of having messy, shaky lines, it's starting to get better, right? So the more I do this, we'll go back and try to draw with my left hand again later and see how much better after these exercises the result is. So, I have to find where I was. Pardon me. Do. All right. Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just start with some shapes. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw some circles. So you can't, here, let me draw it over. You can't see. So there's one big drawback is getting really stiff and trying to draw stuff with just your fingers. It is a way to draw, and you can get really fine motor control that way, but you won't get fluid shapes. So if I try to draw a big swooping shape, my even getting my wrist involved, that's not enough. So I have to pick my arm up, and we're gonna make big sweeping motions. So if you are in a larger sketchbook where you need the space, maybe make sure you don't have like the arm of the couch or something in the way, so you can kind of get these bigger sweeping motions. So make sure your arm is up, and you're not just doing little circles like this, not just using your wrist. You want to use your shoulder should be moving. So I'm also trying to teach myself these things because I'm catching myself doing them the wrong way. And when you're learning, it's the best time to try to correct that. So see how I keep getting this bean shape in there? I want to try to pull a little bit tighter when I go through. So you can kind of see, go through slow, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to be accurate. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to try to get the practice of making the shape, right? So make a bunch of circles. I'll do like squares. Again, they don't have to be perfect. You're not trying to make it like the best square that was ever made. You are just trying to get your brain to realize how to stop and redirect. Now, if I did this with my other hand, it's gonna go a lot faster and a lot tighter. Like this hand knows. Like this one is kind of like strolling through the park and looking at the trees, but that's okay because we're learning the route, you know? Take your time and learn the motor skills. So that's why doing the different shapes is good. You're teaching your hand different angles. So this one's the 90-degree angle, and this one is a more acute angle. I don't feel like practicing, like, I guess you could try to draw like octagons or hexagons or something, but I would just draw wider angles like this if that was something that you wanted, or do like a diamond shape. So if there's something that you want to practice, just go ahead and find a comfortable shape to do it. Spirals are one of my favorites. These show up everywhere in all my doodles because when the brain shuts off and the hand makes shapes, this is the shape that is super duper fun. So it is just kind of like, it looks like a mishmash and it looks like a mess, right? But I promise you that as silly as this looks, these are exercises for new and beginning artists that I think are severely overlooked or underutilized. Because your hand, if you haven't been drawing a lot, or you think that you can't draw, or you haven't tried drawing in a long time, you're just going to miss that information, that connection, that bridge. So just keep practicing, right? So this is just helping build the muscle memory. You don't want to worry about going too fast, too slow, doesn't need to be perfect, it's just about the motion. And the best thing you can do is practice for a few minutes a day before bed. Honestly, if you keep your new favorite sketchbook and materials where you like to relax or watch TV at the end of your day, and you just doodle and don't put any pressure on yourself just yet. So you want to sleep on it, and it will let your brain absorb the information you're learning. This is a good way to dip your toes in if you're brand new or are looking for a way to brush up your skills. doodling is always a great way to relax. I completely and wholeheartedly will always advocate as a hobby doodling and drawing. It is so relaxing. And I find my best ideas sneak out onto paper when I'm not forcing anything. So now maybe next time you try to replicate some of the shapes from a tutorial to draw a face, your hands will have an easier time making the shapes that you would like them to. Is it the magic answer to suddenly being a master artist? No. But the simple missing step is kind of part of why learning to draw at all is so difficult. Practice and you will get better is sage advice for sure, but also like teaching beginners how to learn really, really helps. You can't just tell someone practice and get better. Like this is the way you practice. Don't get frustrated with yourself. Teach your hand the motor skills. And if you keep it up, you'll be a true art gremlin in no time, right? So let's go ahead and I'll do one last thing. We got my left hand here. See if Smarty Pants paid attention, right? So I'm gonna try to draw a circle. I'm gonna try to draw the shape down the middle. Okay, now I'm gonna try to draw the cheeks. And my guidelines. So, okay, so it's not perfect, right? Not totally symmetrical, but let me see if I can. I want to flip my canvas, but I know if you're drawing traditionally, you cannot. So there's so many overlapping lines here. Okay, I'll just erase. But like, see, it's not that I don't know how to draw the face. It's literally that my hand is struggling to make the curved shape because I'm not as well versed with it. Like, I really hope that this demonstrates to you how much of this is practice and skill, as opposed to just some sort of magic ability that artists somehow have. I hope that this kind of pulls back the curtain, because I'm gonna say, like, this isn't perfect maybe, but it's cartoony. We'll let it go. We'll let it be. The point is to draw a face. I didn't say what face. And I just want to draw some eyeballs here. I mean, this isn't perfect, but this looks more like the anime I used to draw back in high school. There we go. So, you know, my left hand isn't perfect, but it's about a decade behind my right hand now. Let's see, maybe. Can we do this? All right, see, I don't think I would have been able to do this at the beginning. I would have been very, very frustrated and flustered trying to get my hand to do this, because I'm kind of frustrated right now, but it's halfway doing what I want, so I can live with it. I can live with it, you know? You hear me? But if I just tried to put this much effort into the first one from the get-go, I probably would have just ended the stream and been like, I can't do this. Frustrating. But, you know. So when people say you just gotta practice to get better, I hope that this helps you understand what that practice might entail. Oh no. I don't know how this is looking now. I'm gonna stop. Oh, hold on. I like this. Can I make it wider? No. This one? This one. No? How do I... See, my hands don't even know the hotkeys backwards. How can I trust it to draw a face if it doesn't even... My left hand doesn't know how to draw. My right hand doesn't know the hotkeys. That's hilarious. All right. So if you appreciated any of the tips that I shared, give a like and subscribe to catch more. And in fact, next Wednesday, noon to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will cover how to doodle, why it's so important in learning to draw, and what the alphabet actually lends to your drawing style, which I think is super neat. I haven't seen anywhere else, and I cannot wait to share. So, thank you so much for listening to that spiel. If you have any questions, now would be the time to ask. And then we are going to go ahead and move on over to the segment where I'm doing some work on this fabulous pinup. Oop. I'm gonna pull it up again just because I'm so excited to work on this. Yes. Oh, all right. Let me catch up on chat just real quick. Doesn't look like we've had too much. You have your own style of how you write the alphabet. Probably seen it a few times in your sketches. Honestly, I bet if I saw your handwriting versus your sketches, I could see where some of it comes from. Like, it seems silly. You're like, what do you mean it has anything to lend to your drawing style? And I'm like, I'm 100% serious. It's also why it's so hard to just copy other artists. Oh, I'm excited for next week's stream now. Oh, all right. I gotta stretch the shoulders. And I think we're gonna go ahead and turn the hand cam off. And we'll see. The stream was supposed to end in 30 minutes, but I started so late, so I don't know. We'll go for a minute. I still have obligations to take care of today, so I cannot linger too long. Linger too longer? Wow. My brain almost train wrecked that one, but I saved it. But that one was too funny not to share. Like, okay, good try. All right. Big stretch. Okie dokie. Thank you for that quick break there. I had to set some stuff up to accommodate that particular setup, so gave me a moment to adjust my screen and all that good stuff. I really hope my music isn't too loud. Okay, so I'm trying to see where I left off on this. It looks like I always forget to like save myself just a little color key, because I usually fuck that up. Like, sometimes when you try to go back and like color drop stuff like this, if I didn't get the full saturation of this gray down, then what I'm color dropping now is not accurate, and everything else I do from this will be more it'll be the wrong shade, it won't match. So just a little side note, if you want to make your life easier, make yourself little mini palettes. And actually, there's a way to do this for traditional art too, because I have a bajillion Copic markers from my decades of art. Oh, hold on, I don't know what's going on. My phone? No, alright. It's just chaos today. I booped my microphone, but it didn't unmute. Alright, so the I'll usually make like a color swatch for traditional art with whatever like markers or pencils I'm using. So if I come back around to something later, I can remember how to actually make it match. Alright, so... I believe I'm going to go ahead and keep... shading the main portion of her first, and then, yeah. I think that's what I want to do. Oh yeah, now I'm not drawing left-handed, I can turn this back on. If this is annoying, I can turn it off. I think it's neat because you can see where my brush is at easier, but it also might obscure parts of the drawing. So I like to turn on sometimes, I like to turn it off other times. If it's in the way, feel free to let me know, and I don't mind toggling it off. Uh-oh. Did I just use a smaller brush? Maybe. Did I just use a really big brush? I think this looks too bright though. Alright, so actually, I just realized I didn't do any of the backdrop yet. I might want to. I might. Just might, just might be good. Do. Oh gosh, I keep trying to make it over to turn on music in my ear. There we go. No, not on desktop. What? Oh no. Oh, Spotify. The life is chaos. Alright, we'll try it that way. Now can I listen to anything? Music is really important to me. Like, if I don't have the ability to listen to music, I feel like it's really hard for me to draw. So I've noticed actually that's probably another really random tip. Sometimes people need like the right conditions to draw. Like sometimes people need it to be absolutely quiet. Sometimes people need to have like a familiar show in the background or like music going. And I've heard various things that different artists like to do while they're working, and I always find that really interesting. If you have any particular quirky things you like to like listen to or have on, or maybe if you're someone who like likes to work in complete silence, let me know. The only time I can do anything like that is like if I'm playing guitar. And obviously, like, if I'm making sound, I don't want other sounds. I need my wrist to feel better so I can play some more guitar. Thankfully, strumming isn't the rough part. It's holding the finger positions for chords and such. So my left hand has that job, which means I can kind of I can play guitar a little bit here and there, which is nice. I haven't done it for a long time. But there's a, there's a 3/4 one and I can actually like play it now. It doesn't hurt my shoulder, and I'm excited. So yeah, when I'm trying to play guitar, I guess that's a creative mode where I like stuff to be quiet, but whenever I'm drawing or stuff like that, I just I feel like talking to chat definitely counts as a form of stimulation, because sometimes I can't handle streaming, especially like Twitch and YouTube, I feel like are different. Where, well, I don't know actually. YouTube's new. YouTube's new. But Twitch specifically, it's a platform where if you are streaming, you're generally fairly, it's an interaction driven, like chat basically. So whenever I'm trying to draw, part of my focus ends up going to talking. And it feels like I can never quite get, like fully in the zone. And it's gotten easier. It's why I ramble a lot. Like, stopping to read chat is hard when I'm looking at what I'm drawing. And so I have to kind of intermittently take breaks to see. But, in the meantime, I just kind of get lost looking at the shapes and the volumes. All right, what do I want to do next? Helps get into the workflow. For you, it's audiobooks. Oh, nice. I could see that. That might be a good one for me to check out, actually, because I've been on like YouTube binges for like hour-long videos or more, so I can just sit and not have to like find any, like, I don't want to have to go look for anything else to watch. I just want a long thing. And it's been really nice for some of that, but I'm starting to run out of like of some of the things I was enjoying, so I'm just like, I'm not really in the mood to hunt for more channels. So if I find more good long form videos, I've been trying to find them, but I've been working so much, I basically churned through my library. I'm like, someone please upload something, and they're like, uploads 20-minute video, and I'm like, no. That's what playlists are for. Okay, that's her wing. There we go. Sorry. You turn on stuff that's 3 to 10 hours? Yeah, I could totally see. That would be awesome. That's why I'm like, you know what? I don't mind leaving my VODs up. I know it might not always be like 100% constant stimulation and talking like video essay channels are and stuff, but I've heard a few times that people like to turn on my streams in the background because it's nice background noise, or if they want to listen to the VOD if they miss the streams, and I'm like, oh. So I will not discount that. I appreciate it so much, and I think it's super, super neat. It's weird though, I've been streaming for so long. I've been streaming before streaming was mainstream streaming, but it was a different kind of streaming. So like the busking for donations and subs on Twitch is a new one for me, but talking to my chat isn't, because I've been drawing for a long time, and it's my preference to have my commissioners in chat if I can. Because it just makes communication super quick. If I draw something that, say I'm starting to draw the wrong, like, shirt, and you're like, oh no, that's the wrong shirt, you can beep me right then and there and go, wait, and, like, pull the brakes before I spend the whole time drawing the incorrect shirt. So, I try to check in a lot with, with works in progress, but it's still one of my favorite, like, instant. Like, I don't need commissioners to get back to me immediately, I can switch and work on other stuff. So like I'll get stuck at a point and I'm like, oh, I wonder about this. So I'll send them the thing and I'll just wait for a response, because it's easier to find out what direction I'm trying to go in than to go in the wrong direction and be frustrated I wasted my time. So it takes a minute as far as like communicating back and forth, but it's one of the reasons I charge what I charge, because I check in constantly to make sure that stuff is what you want. And like, that's my goal. If somebody gets art from me, I want it to be enjoyable. Like, I want it to look like your character. I want it to have your character's accessories. I don't want to miss key characteristics. So like, there's just like, the reason I'm accommodating is because that's the service I provide. And it works really well for me, and I really enjoy it. It's so funny. It's like, this is hilarious to me that this is what I do for a living. Not because like, oh, haha, look at me, I'm drawing furry pinups. No, that part doesn't surprise me one guy. Like, not at all. This part, it was a long time coming somehow. So that part's not it. What baffles me is that I came back around to drawing art for customers, because in high school I took a graphic design class my senior year. So I took art all through. It was like fine, you know? And I enjoyed it. I got to try different mediums. I learned, realism, not like super high, like, schooling. I didn't go to an art school or anything. But I learned the basics that way, or honed my basics, I guess. And it was fine. And so I was like, okay, senior year, I qualify for graphic design. I like drawing. I would like to do art for a living, right? Sounds good. Everything's great, right? Everything lines up. Sounds perfect. Makes sense. So I sign up for the class. I get accepted into the class. My teacher's super excited. And I am like, I'm also really excited. We got to dabble in a little bit of digital art in the classroom in our like regular art classes, but we didn't really get to do a lot of digital art. So the fact that the graphic design class was more centered around that, and it was something I was interested in learning, I was just like, heck yeah, let's do this. And I was so excited. And it just turned out to be I hated that class. I hated that class. It should have been so enjoyable. And instead it was just entirely endlessly stressful. It was, so all of my previous years, I'd submitted my stuff and it was fine, right? And for some reason, my teacher decided she wanted to push me. She's like, no, that's not good enough. So we'd have 1 week to do a project in the class, or it was crazy. We'd have like 2 weeks to do a project, and I'd spend the first week having all of my thumbnails denied while everybody else was working on their projects. And she's like, no, you can do better. And I'm like, can I just start my schoolwork so that I can finish the project? Like, and she's like, no, I know you can do better, and none of these speak to me. And so I was just like, ugh. So I went back and I thumbnailed more stuff and whatever, and eventually, like, she'd accept something, and then it just left me panicking at a deadline and stuck, stressed out. I'd have like 1 or 2 days to complete the assignment, or it was a really big assignment I should have had 2 weeks to do, and now I only had 1 week. So I was having to come in before and after class if I could get rides to school. I was coming in on my lunches. I'd have to eat really fast because we couldn't have food around the computer, and I would have to spend my lunch just trying to finish the classwork I should have been able to finish. But she kept batting down thumbnail after thumbnail while everybody else was working on stuff that was arguably worse than some of the thumbnails I had produced. Like, she could have given 1 thumbnail to each other student in the class at the point of some of them. It was like so bad. And the straw that broke the camel's back was when we were supposed to do our own logo, right? For basically a portfolio review. And so we had 1 week. We were supposed to make the logo, and we were going to use the logo to make a business card and a letterhead. So 1 thumbnail and then 2 graphic design products out of it, basically, right? And you're supposed to be your own customer, design something that represents you. Do. Sounds fabulous. Sounds fantastic. Sounds like I should have a logo from 10 years ago, yeah? No. She batted down, probably 100 sketches. I'm not even kidding. I literally have them in a folder somewhere. Like, it was so bad that I kept them just so that when I looked back and thought, man, it couldn't have been that bad, I can go look at how many thumbnails I had to go through before she approved 1. And none of them were that bad. Like, it was just crazy. It's like she was trying to force me to run out of ideas to do something like extra creative or weird, and all it did was just stress a stressed out high schooler out more. And I just hated the class. So I finally just brought a whole page over to her, and it was on top of my binder, and she points at some other doodle in my binder. Mind you, not the page of thumbnail sketches that I have brought her. She points at the something sticking out of the pocket in the very, very corner. She goes, "What's that?" And I'm like, "It's just a doodle." She's like, "That's it. That screams you. That's the one." And I was like, okay, all right, finally, yes, there's something that you want me to finish. Let's go. So I had 2 days to try to figure out how to use the program to make this. It ended up being like a silhouette of a cat girl. And then on the last day, I managed to make my my letterhead and my or I had to come in extra. Either way, it was horrible. And at the last minute, I finally got the letterhead and everything done. And she didn't give a crap about those. I half-assed my way through those. I don't even know. I don't think they were that good. For some reason, it was the logo that she was just writing me on. So after all that, right? That was like this big important thing. And we come around to the end of the year, and we have this mock portfolio review. So we're supposed to pretend that we are applying for a graphic design job somewhere, and we need to find people who work in the graphic design industry or adjacent to do a portfolio review and kind of tell us what we did right, what we can do better, and kind of critique some of our art in the portfolio for the field of work, right? I was so stressed out about it. So the teacher made a big deal that she was going to go ahead and choose someone to. She's like, well, if you don't know anybody, then I can reach out to some friends and see if they're available. And I was like, yes, please. I would appreciate that solid, because I'm so stressed out at this point from having not been able to finish my project. I was constantly behind in that class because she just wouldn't let me start stuff. And it was just it was so stressful, and it made me hate art so much. And I was just like, Customers are awful to work with. They're horrible, like, you can never make them happy. Everybody is just, so impossible to please. I am never, ever going to do, like, graphic design or client work or custom work. Like, nope, not me. Not for me. I cannot. Like, I will just refund people, and that's the end of my career. Good day, sir. So I left high school and kind of went in a different direction career-wise than I thought. So yeah, after I got sick and I lost my day job, and I basically started leaning on drawing for a living, it was really interesting because I'd started doing commissions for fun before I got sick. So it was like my weekend thing. If any of you hanging in the crowd, because I know there's a couple from back in the day, you remember the Saturdays where I would stream for 12 hours. It was a whole different time. People would go to sleep and they would wake up and they'd go, "My God, you're still streaming." And I was like, "Art gremlin noises." And I'm really sad. I just can't keep up like that anymore. But I enjoyed it, and like, I struggled to ever complete art. I would feel like I'd run into something that I couldn't get right, I couldn't get perfect, so I would just drop the whole project, and it would never get done, it would never progress, and it would never go any further, and I would never have anything that I was proud of to show anybody, and it sucked. So when I did commissions for like dipping my toes in, it was like really interesting because I was now beholden to somebody. They gave me money. I must now give them art. Like, we have entered into an agreement. And so it actually made me kind of have to face, well, how do I finish stuff? And it made me come to the whole realization that sometimes good enough is good enough. And if I pulled up old artwork, which I won't right now, but maybe another stream we can compare some stuff. But if I hadn't let stuff go then, like, an example would be, say, how blocky her hands are right now. I used to draw really, really cruddy hands, and I still kind of leave them in rough shape for a little bit, but I'll come back through and I will shade them, and it usually helps me kind of grasp the volume, and I'll come back through, and then I will, why can't I oh, I'm on the wrong layer, silly. It helps me grasp the volume and the shape, and I'll come back and I'll kind of clean it up and everything. But if I had just quit drawing my old stuff because I couldn't get the hands to look right, I would have never, like, gotten to the point where my hands look better now. I probably would have just given up. So it actually kind of made me grow and learn to finish things, and it was just really, I don't know, it's been really wholesome to go from having like a graphic design class where I had a teacher who just made me really dislike drawing for others, and then to have it go to being in a situation where I get to draw for people I enjoy, people who enjoy my art style, and like, this is not to say like I'm not open for critique. I am not perfect. I've drawn some wonky things here and there, but if someone's like, "Hey, can you change that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll give that one another go." But sometimes it's just me nitpicking stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's been interesting. I never would have thought I would be happy doing commissions for people, based off of like if I went back and told high school me that I was drawing art for other people, I would laugh and be like, "I bet you're miserable. Good luck." And I'm not. I found a really good customer base that I love working with, and The way I conduct business leaves me with people approaching me most of the time, so it means that they want my art style, versus people who are just looking for open slots and maybe won't be happy with the art style. Yeah, we're gonna have to come back and draw. I don't like that hand at all. That's fine. I usually have to redraw hands multiple times. It's not until like the final leg of a drawing that I will actually buckle down. I think her hand looks too small, actually. That might be part of it. But yeah, it's a wild turn of events, but I like it. And I get to draw so many cute characters I probably wouldn't otherwise. Like, I have my aesthetic. I have things that I like. And those are what I tend to lean towards drawing, or including in my drawings or in my characters. So when I get to draw things from other people, they include other aesthetics and other things I might not always include myself, or like, I just don't like gold, or yeah, sometimes like brass or copper, but mostly if I put metal on a character, it's silver. I just like silver. It's me. And so when people bring me characters with like gold accessories, I'm like, yes, I get to shade the gold shinies. And I love it. So it just adds some variety. All right. I like the wing, but I'm not sure. All right. So let's get a little more of this done. All right. All right, so what? I'm streaming. I need a recording light. High school and college was the most stressful part of your life. Yeah, I've been through some stressful stuff, and like, dude, that's still up there. Like, too much stress. I didn't go to college though. I opted for working straight out of high school. Which, in retrospect, I'm grateful for, because I think at this point it would have just left me with student debt while I have no, like, I would rather, now that I know, like, what, like, now that I'm further in life, I feel like I would know what kind of things or direction that I would want. Some people know sooner, and that's fine. But there's some courses at the community college that one day I'd like to look at. Mostly like business, because that's not something they really teach you a lot of. And I'm doing pretty good cobbling stuff together for myself, might I say. And it's dumb because a lot of stuff is like paywalled. You try to search or like learn yourself and things are like, oh, you have to pay for courses to get the information or to find out how to do. And I'm like, I'm not paying for a course to find out how to make a spreadsheet for my taxes. That's dumb. And I'm very, very fortunate to know two friends of mine who've been running their own businesses for almost as long as I've been alive, more or less. Not I mean, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it just feels like I am very grateful that I have access to their wisdom and that they're willing to share what they know with me, because it's really complex and it's hard to figure out on your own. So it sucks there's not more resources for that. So if I were to go to college for something at this point, it would be something related to that. All right, we have some fluffy stuff. Just trying to... Actually, I'm gonna make this bigger. I really rely on this window over here. There we go. Bonnie looks really good with her gold shiny. Bonnie was really fun to draw too. I liked her tail fin. There's also one other thing, I guess, while we're reminiscing about art school. It was a weird phenomena, and I don't know if anybody else can relate, but as somebody who's been fairly gifted at drawing since a young age, I dealt with a lot of people who would express like really strong emotions of like, oh, I'll never be able to draw like that, and just being like really sad and down on their own art because what they saw me making was so good. And I felt so bad that I was discouraging people from making art with my own art, and I actually wouldn't try as hard as I could have on a lot of stuff. And that's not to say the stuff that I didn't do wasn't good. Like, it's not the same thing as the teacher writing me for not doing stuff perfect. It was more like I could have added more detail and spent more time on stuff, but it would have left me like trying to rush and finish stuff. Because I did it in middle school. I did like a bobcat that I never got to finish, and it's so good. It's like borderline hyper realistic. Like at that point, I gave up on trying to do hyper realistic stuff because I just knew I could. I was like, okay, sweet. And it's good for practices or references. But at the time, it was like, cool. I was satisfied that I knew I could replicate that kind of thing. And I became more interested in trying to work out how to draw the human body. And I went from drawing things like unicorns and dragons and like the bobcat to I actually dipped my toes into it with anime because I felt like the more simplified drawing style, it seemed less intimidating, I feel like. And it kind of let me understand where to then go back around and start doing anatomy studies later to build on it. But I was also a big Weibo anime nerd, so it could just be me. Might not be universally applicable. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna just basically go back in and draw her hands at the end. I hate it when I do it, but I don't want to deal with the hands right now, so I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna keep working in the directions that I can. Alright, let's see. Let's try shading her eye. See if it helps. I think so. Alright, but this doesn't look filled in. There we go. That's better. Ah. Alright, so sure that this. Okay. And I want to come in with oh. Just we've got light coming in from this, so that. I'm just coming in with the airbrush with a shadow effect, so it basically just has a multiply effect, which is why it brought it from like a gold to like a warmer orangey color. And then I like to go back over it and add other stuff, and it just kind of adds a fun gradient to the background element of what else I shade. I don't know, I'm constantly trying out new stuff, so this is just like one of 10 ways I shade the eyes. Depends on the character and the mood and what I think will look better, or like how big the eyes are. Sometimes in some pictures they're not as large or as open, so like they don't have as much room, and I want to keep just cranking up the resolution, but at some point it's too much. Alright, come in here with I think eyes are probably one of my favorite things to shade. Super fun. Let's see. Just like to try around, or play around. I like to try out stuff, play around, and then zoom back and see what I like or don't like. I don't like that. That's fine. Let's especially with digital art, it's super fun to just try stuff, and if it doesn't work, it's no biggie. Could probably have a lesson or two on eyes, for sure. Probably like the general idea behind shading them, and then probably a couple of different ways that you can do it. Or in different mediums, because different things operate different ways. You can't use the that multiply effect that I used digitally, traditionally, but you can do some cool gradients with Copic markers and pencils, so. I don't know if I can do colored pencils anymore, though. Might be a little too repetitive for my poor hand. Which sucks, because I have some old Prismacolors. Hopefully they're not brittle. But they're nice to add accents to stuff. Like, so if I do watercolor or marker, and then like maybe I just want to add a bit of blush to the cheeks, but maybe I've been a little too enthusiastic with my inking, and the paper's so saturated that if I try to come in with some pink ink to blush the cheeks in, it'll look garbage and bleed everywhere because it has to go somewhere. So it will either bleed through the paper or push the other ink out. And you can only saturate the paper like 2 or 3 times before it won't, like, you can't stack the color anymore. It's really interesting. So I can go back on top of areas like that. Oh no, oh, ow, I've got an eyelash in my eye. And I can just kind of go on top with the pencil, and it doesn't affect the paper saturation. I will be right back. I need to get this eyelash out of my eye. It's horrible. Oh my goodness. All right. That is the curse of having such long and luscious lashes, is they fall in my eyeball and it's like a tiny dagger and I hate it. All right. So, let's see about finishing her eyes, and then I think I'll be wrapping up the stream in about 13 minutes at the bottom of the hour. So to explain the tech issues I had, this was really, really great. So I've been streaming for a while. I've streamed on Picardo, I've streamed on Twitch, and now I'm streaming on YouTube. So, you know, each platform is slightly different, and they interface with OBS slightly differently. And so YouTube has me create it has me create a stream, and then I select that broadcast to stream, and there's two different buttons on it. One that says select broadcast and stream, and one that says select broadcast and then you start stream separately, right? So I accidentally selected the one that started the stream at the same time, and then I clicked what it was supposed to be start streaming on my end, but was actually stop stream, which is why there was like a 20-second recording for a minute there. And I just sat here talking to myself. I thought I was live. And then I saw no data. It didn't pop up on the side that I was live. It was still like loading. And I'm like, what? Am I even talking to anybody right now? And I was not. So I tried to figure it out. I tried to start a new instance. I tried to reload the broadcast, and like, I just made YouTube and OBS mad at each other and they wouldn't talk. So then I had to go ahead and restart my computer, and then I was able to finally start the stream again. But yeah, that was a fun adventure. So now I know to triple check not to press select broadcast and start stream. We learned an important and chaotic lesson today. That's why I was like, oh man, I almost don't even want to do this stream. But I really did. I wanted to try to... I know it was a little clunky, and there might be some parts that felt a little awkward because I was reading a script. But I feel like the information was all right and isn't overly emphasized on. But I think that might be an easier format for me to do some how-to tutorials. And just spend a few minutes at the start of a stream doing a little tutorial. And next time, I don't think we'll run into the chaos that we did this time. Like, I had some severe delays. But I stuck to it. I was like, I am streaming today. I've been planning this all week. I was excited to share. I was like, I'm not backing down. All right, and then let's see. Do I have enough time? I'm gonna try. Yeah. I'm gonna start shading her hair. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring this in. Alright. So... hair's another really interesting one to me. Like, I literally don't even think about it. The more I think about it, and the more I try to make it look good, the worse it just looks. Actually, I'll leave that like that because I want to come back in with some highlights. So, goes, yeah. Doesn't quite look right with what's behind it, but I'll fix what's behind it later. Like that tail. Although my sketch, it was way, like, I think it came all the way over here. But I felt like it was a little bit much. Wait, why am I so far off from my cursor? Oh geez, that got shifted. That's better. I didn't realize I was so... Yeah, there we go. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was so out of sync. Also, what did you think about the hand cam? Do you like it? Do you want to... Would you like to see that more when I'm just working on stuff like this? Was that interesting? I didn't really see a point for it beyond demo, like the demo. So if it was enjoyable though, let me know. Curse you, beautiful lashes. Yeah. Actually, speaking of, let's give her some beautiful lashes. Make sure this actually, there we go. All right. I imagine she's got like, if she's doing like a little photo shoot or something, she'd have some makeup on, some mascara. Eyelashes are one I still kind of struggle with. But it's another, like, it's weird. This is one of my rants I should go on. Like, natural things aren't perfect. So if you try to make them look like intentional or, like, so few things in nature are perfect and repetitive. Like, you don't look at a leopard and see its spots and go, oh, that's an ugly leopard. Its spots are all fucky. Like, they're all slightly different. They're imperfect. Some of them are different shapes. Like, they're supposed to be camouflage, so they're mimicking nature, and nature itself is so full of imperfections. So when you try to draw hair and you try to be perfect, it usually gives you the opposite result, because you're trying to make something that is naturally chaotic and messy, like strands of hair, be smooth and like in a conforming shape, which works for certain hairstyles if you've got like a mohawk or like something that's gelled or slicked back. But if that's not the hairstyle or feel you're going for, it really makes it feel stiff. So if you're finding when you try to shade hair that it feels really stiff and unnatural, that would be my recommendation, is to try just being a little more chaotic with it. Like, I used to be able to shade short hair, no problem, like totally fine. But anytime I was trying to shade long hair, stressed me out, looked bad, didn't know what was going on, wasn't happy with the final result, but kind of made it work. And the time it unlocked for me was when I was doing like in-stream commissions, where I do them for like a discount, and they're kind of on a time limit, So there's a bit of a pressure for me to go fast and stay focused. And then I noticed I really liked some of how the hair was coming out. And it's because I was going so fast, everything was coming out like loose and natural, and it felt more like hair than any of the overdrawn, redrawn, like, to this day, one of the ways I draw hair is by drawing the general volume shape, like where I want to shoot for. And then I just go straight for the line art or the sketch without anything else underneath, because otherwise it becomes too overworked. Again, unless it's like a gelled down hairstyle or something like that, where it would look really uniform. So let's flip this way. There we go. Like, I don't want anything up here to necessarily have to be the same length. Ooh, if I do this. Yeah, that looks good. Just kind of play around with stuff. And then, like, if I didn't like it, I would just completely wipe the board. Like, go back to having it completely blank, because sometimes if you've just overworked certain parts, like, or if there's one corner that you really like and everything else is kind of not doing it for you, I'll just save, like, the one corner I do like and try again. It's really weird. Like, sometimes you just start on the wrong foot, and starting over entirely just makes the difference. Like, it just, something wasn't right from go. All right. So I love Clip Studio's assets. This hairbrush has been really cool. I made some adjustments to the original one, but there's so many useful brushes. They're really cool. I can't believe the resources that are available these days compared to when I was younger. Like, I think I used... So I found out that Clip Studio Paint used to be Manga Studio, and I think I had like Manga Studio 4 or 5 or something like that. So I technically had Clip Studio Paint before it was Clip Studio Paint, which I think is really interesting. There was even some animation software on there, and I could not for the life of me figure out how to make it do anything, but I made some really janky animations that made me just laugh with, like, the preset models, trying to make them move. I feel like I would do better figuring out how to set the keyframes and everything now. But it was a funny one to think back to. Playing around with stuff and learning is the best way. Okay. You like it? It showed you were doing the thing behind the screen, which is nice to have for learning digital art. Oh, nice, nice. But normal streaming, you don't know. Okay. Well, if while I'm drawing, it's interesting to see, let me know. 'Cause yeah, that's not a problem. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I am really glad I got to stream. I wanted to get further on this, but unfortunately I have to wrap it up. So my late start today cut into my drawing time, but I'll be working tonight, just offline. So, everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate it. I do my best to try to bring some neat and fun information along with just getting some work done and showing you some behind the scenes. All right, I'm gonna get a snack and be on my merry way to do my merry things. So I hope you all have a lovely day. I once again appreciate it so much. Oh, and I am gonna forget the most important thing. My merch is live in the shop. Link below to my link tree, and the first link there goes to my Fourth Wall shop, which has Tired and Gay shirts and mugs, as well as a whole variety. We've got Tired and Ace, Tired and Pan, Tired and Bi, Tired and Lesbian. I tried to cover as many as I could just to get a spread up there. So if there is one that you are interested in and would like to get but don't see, drop me a message and I'll see what I can do about adding it for you. Otherwise, everybody take care. I'll see you next time. Hopefully noon next Wednesday to tell you the secrets of doodling. Have a good one. Bye.